right, good morning. Another day here at Power Play Garage, and I'm going to be working on a project which is a 2018 Toyota Camry. The client came in, he's got some damage to the trunk deck, lid, trunk cover, whatever you want to call it, and some damage to the front nose based on pulling into one of those stoppers where the concrete is sticking up so you don't go past the point. And I guess a few times too many, backing out, kind of did some damage. And the car has been painted before, the whole thing. I don't know what to tell you about that. I definitely didn't do it. No way, no how. So I'm going to do a walk around, show you a few things. And the one thing I already took care of and fixed the other day, because it was important to get it done then versus waiting until today to have it finished. So let's do it. And the 2018 Toyota Camry here at Power Play Garage. So here is the trunk damage. The light is busted. One is on order. I believe it's coming in tomorrow. We got a crushed in part, paint flaking off, but it is damaged in. This would be the worst part of it right here. It's crushed and has lifted, because it started the uplift on this section of it. See, it's caved in. My thought is, because it did hit a little bit down here, it's actually the plastic. I don't know if there's plastic on this or not, but he just wants the trunk fixed. I don't believe he mentioned anything about this. I don't know what to think about the plastic, whatever it is on there. If I can freshen that up a little bit, I will. But yeah, I think a truck or an SUV, something on the higher side of a car, hit the back of this. They don't know who did it. It was a hit and run. So we end up replacing that. And the one thing that I had to do already, and that was to replace the door handle. I believe it's a common thing on these Toyota Camrys where one of the cables that are attached to the handle, it broke, it snapped off. So you got to remove the panel. There's clips all the way around it. There's a screw behind here. You got to take this cover off. You got to get all the stuff out of the way and carefully remove it. You got to take that little cover off. So once you get everything separated and you get it apart, there's a lot to take apart in order to get the door panel off. And this is actually clipped to the door panel with a couple of cables that run alongside here inside the door that you end up removing. One is for the actual lock and the other one is for the door handle. So you're going to spend a little time on that. Those parts there are commonly, I think they're at most parts house. O'Reilly's is where I got that one from, but I'm sure the rest of those places sell it. So then we're going to move on down here to this neck of the woods. We got the paint lifting right here coming off because I guess it's been scuffed, and just like this, the paint came off because it's been hit, scuffed or something. But here, the clip, the part of the bumper cover, the fastener that goes into the inner one, they broke. And it would be nice if those parts were in there, but unfortunately they're not. I think I got an idea. Hopefully that will fix these. I will show you on my YouTube channel, which is Power Play Garage. You got to do the @ sign first. This, I guess, over time when they're driving it, the air pushing this, and then the tire rubbing. Who knows? I'm not sure. Can't fix that unless you just replace it. You didn't ask about that getting repaired. It doesn't really need it. It's just a matter of, fastening all this so it doesn't do that. And I will be cleaning up underneath here. So this part right here, I will be repainting, and I'll figure out where I'm going to blend it in the best spot, and I'll do my best to blend it in. I'm not painting the whole bumper cover. And the place that did the paint job, I guess, or might have fixed it, put a strip of this. I don't even know what this is. Well, look at that. Come right off. And the same thing is on the passenger side. There's two of them. And all that nice overspray. And you can see I didn't do that because I'm videoing it beforehand. But, you know, they could have cleaned it. They did cover it. And yeah, this is coming off. Oh, they did that to cover that. Wow, that's interesting. He wanted these off. They're off. There you go, sir. This stuff will come off. I don't know what the deal is with that. Maybe the clips inside there are broken. I'm not really sure. Once I get into it and investigate, oh, they got a couple of screws there holding that together. Oh, ain't that just beautiful? Yeah, that's Ducky right there. Yeah, the clips on this side are broken as well. So I'm sure there was something that took place, because there's a lot of internal damage here, and that's from the tire wearing on it. This is thin, cheap plastic, you know, it's junk. And all this stuff in here, all the clips are busted off. I guess they didn't want to put any clips that you could get. Actually, you can order them online, those little push-in clips. They kind of look like this. They could have done that. I guess they didn't want to. I don't know, I wasn't there. Not accusing anybody of anything, but I'm gonna see what I can do about this mess. I don't know how much, but that's what was covering it. That's nice. Yeah, that's just a beautiful thing. So pretty much those are the areas that I'm going to address. First thing I'm gonna end up doing is I gotta pull the wheel off. I'm gonna pull the other wheel off, take them off, and start to investigate, because before I do any repairs as far as, you know, not really body work, but prepping this for paint, I want to fix all this stuff here on both sides, so that the air pressure coming from the front while they're driving doesn't keep pushing those in against the tires and wear more of it out. The other side having clips missing, which this doesn't have a clip missing over in here, those is what kept it from looking like the other side, which is a lot worse than this side. Yeah, that's nice, really nice. So let me get started. In the meantime, I'm gonna get the car more up in the air and get started on this beautiful 2018 Toyota Camry. And once I've progressed, I'll chime back in, so stand by. Okay, I'm back, and I just got to show you this. It's important, I think it is, for all the folks who believe that a cheaper price is the best price when it comes to getting your car painted. Keep in mind, this whole car was painted, and I don't know how much you'll be able to pick up on it. And until the car is up in the air like this one is, you can tell it's off the ground, I was just blown away. I really was. It's phenomenal. The rocker cover, because it's plastic, from end to end where the crease is, it's got runs that go all the way across. All the way across. On the other side, and there's a door ding. I don't know if they didn't take that out or that came afterwards. I don't know. But it's all over the place. There's so much dirt in this paint. It's just incredible. I first really noticed it when I took the right side wheel off, because I got to try to fix this too, you know. And this is incredible, like I mentioned. So here it starts. Rocker cover runs all the way down. I think pretty much to the end. I saw this. I don't know what in the world happened there. I don't even know what that's all about. That could have happened way after. Not really sure. But that's intriguing, actually. And the runs just don't happen on the rocker. They start at the door, and they actually have drips that come from the bottom of the door that goes right onto the rocker. You know, you get what you pay for, and that philosophy has been around way before I was born. So it's not something that was just made up. It's just incredible. You get what you pay for. So when you see those other guys down in Bombay, Bingley Bong, Texas, saying we start our paint jobs at $6.99, I don't know if that includes the material or not. I have no idea. And you see the other advertisements on I think on television. You know, our paint jobs start at $5.99, $4.99. Go get them. Go get them. Get yourself some of that. You know, like just these runs right here. Go get you some of that, because this is what you get. Absolutely. It looks just peachy. Sorry to do that to you, Rick. I just can't help it. I'm blown away about all the stuff I see here and the kind of work. And they gotta accept it. But you're gonna pay more money. It's either you get it professionally done and make it look great, or you pay cheap money and you get this. And what he paid, I'm not gonna tell you, but the material comes out to real close to what he paid that it would cost me as a shop to buy the material, because I don't buy junk material. I'd like to see this product last, but yeah, it just runs all the way around. I don't know who in the tarnation painted this, but they should take the gun away from him, because he has no idea what in the world he's doing. But anywho, I just thought I'd show that. Wheels are off, and I got to see what I can do about fixing these things here and get it to work. And I know I got some of these push pins that are on this side. Whether they match or not, I really don't care. What I care about, that it actually holds the fender, the inner fender, to the body of the car. So once I figure out how I'm going to repair this, I'll chime back in and show you what I did, and we'll go from there. So in the meantime, stand by. Okay, here we are. I wanted to show this. I find it interesting that Toyota created a pretty neat fastener. That's what goes on there. I was just cleaning it out, make sure part of the clip that broke from here isn't in there on both of them. There's only 2 of those spots. And then further, I investigated this situation right here so that, it'll go back where it belongs. And it seems so far, not sure, but to be okay. So I took it apart because it comes apart fairly nice. And this is the one end. That's the end where the plastic goes into it from the bumper cover. And then you have, this would be the locking part of that ends up going in like this, as you can see. And there's just 2 little latches, you can see them, and you push them in, and then it comes apart. Now I have this higher grade, much higher grade plastic than this. I know, because I know where I buy it from when I'm making things that I need made out of plastic, like mud flaps that I custom make to fit every different car. Everyone is different, and I'll give you an example. This being a wide body car with wide tires on the back deserve a wide mud flap, and that this is the same material. Yep, same material, and they are fitted. And I color match if the client wants it, like this one, and it does its job. So there you have it. So I had to thin this down to make it the same thickness as the bumper cover tabs, and I think I'm there. I'm within reason, as long as I get the other end to comfortably fit into there and do its thing coming out on the other side and latch, because that is a latch right there, right there. That's all that matters. My goal is to get this to stick to that, which I will use between a heat gun and a soldering gun, and I'm going to try to melt it together. I'm going to try. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm going to give it full effort. So I figured I'd try that first, see what happens, and I thought I would chime in and show you the craftiness of Toyota. And I thought that was pretty neat that you're able to take that apart from the inner fender. I'm sure if you had to buy an inner fender, it wouldn't come with those. I highly doubt it. And probably wouldn't have been a bad idea to get 2 new ones, considering the other side is worse than this. But it's not a show car. He just wants it fixed, and that's what I'm going to do. So stand by. Okay, this side here is done. And as I mentioned earlier, we're not replacing the inner plastic fenders. I was able to take and make as I was showing these plastic pieces out of the much thicker and better piece. These two are for the other side, passenger side. I couldn't get this one to work out very well. It didn't want to slide through here. I've done it twice. I didn't want to spend any more time on it. It just wasn't needed. So the wire that I melted into here, I ended up lapping it over, and between that and the new screw that I put underneath here to hold it, and this one in here locking in place, and now having a screw there and a new clip right there, you know, this is pretty good. It's not really going to go anywhere. It's kind of like the way it was. And once I do the body work on this side to fix the beautiness here and underneath here, and I paint it, I will definitely be painting these parts right here so that this way it all kind of blends in. Now for the real shocker, and I'm actually surprised, not blowing over the water type surprise, but as I showed, they got two screws in here. That one's still got some product on there, the glue strip or the whatever tack strip, and that one you can see it's galvanized Phillips head. And to my surprise, it pops out on the other side, because I came over here to start prepping this side while that side was getting cooler to cure better. And long and behold, they got themselves a 3-inch drywall screw going right through there. Unbelievable. Yep, that's quality work right there. Good job, guys, whoever the hell you are. Good job. Regardless of the price tag you charged them, and though it was cheap, and they get what, you know, what they paid for, but that just goes beyond that. I mean, that's just retarded. Holy cow. So now I got to figure out what's really broken in here, and if I can actually fix it without replacing the bumper cover, because, you know, we're not replacing it. We've got two broken tabs here. Hopefully I'll be able to melt those new pieces in, and this, ain't nothing you can do about that other than put new clips in those holes, and 3 of them is what will be going in there. Yeah, that's awesome. Totally awesome. And with that torch right there, that's how I was able to get the metal strips in there. I heated them up till they turn fire red, and because it's wire for welding on a MIG welder, you know, it can handle the heat without turning brittle. So once I melted it in there, then I used a zip tie, and with the lighter, I melted it. Where am I at? I melted it and filled in the line that the thing's made, and then took the sander over it and made it nice. So now I'm going to get to the other side. You can see this side's ready to go. The seam is really nice, and, you know, no one's holding anything, and it's the way it would be, you know. There you go. It's there. Sweet. So I took care of that inside there. You know, I had to roll this thing out of the way, but man, I am just, I'm astounded. Well, once again, you get what you pay for. Yeah, that's just, in case you didn't see it without the light, that screw comes right through. That's a 3-inch galvanized, could be drywall screw, deck screw, whatever, but it doesn't belong in a car, that's for sure. Okay, so let me get moving on this and get this fixed so I can at least start prepping the body work on this. And I will not be painting the whole bumper cover. I told them I wouldn't, because that just takes more time, more material. But I'll definitely make it look a lot better than all this. Man, that's just fabulous. Yep, just fabulous. So let me get to work. In the meantime, stand by. You know, I thought maybe you just might want to see that screw come out of the side of the fender. So, got the old screw gun. And for the first time, I can't imagine, I bet you that one's probably the same thing, the one closest to the light. But here comes this one. Look at that baby. Yeah, and it's a little bent. That could be, it's definitely 3 inches, if not longer. I'm not going to waste my time or the client's money on getting a tape measure. But as you saw that baby come out of there, yeah, that's gorgeous. Unbelievable. Let's see what this one looks like, because I couldn't see that one. Ooh, same thing. Look at that. But this one's not bent. Yeah, that's definitely 3.5 inches. Dang. Brilliant. Absolutely. And they should have the wall of shame. Oh, look at that. And they daubed a whole bunch of something on there. I don't know if it's glue or silicone. I don't know what it is. Yeah, no clue, but I guess whatever that's supposed to go in the metal part of the fender there, here and here. Yeah, you see that? New fresh holes there. Oh man. Wow. I don't know what this is, but that definitely stops it, you know, from going all the way up there once you put it all the way in. So I'll take the sander to it and remove whatever in the world it is and figure out how I'm going to fasten this, because the inner skeleton of this thing, I don't know what else to call it. I'll show you. This piece right here is supposed to have two, I guess, fasteners, nubs like, sticking out, both of them, with a latch like, and go into those square, the little rectangle slots, and then they get pushed in, because that's what I saw on the other side. I don't know, I'm going to use to fill in the hole, because it's not like I can weld this. I'll put body filler in it, but eventually I think it might crack and come out. I'm not really sure. Nice. Well, whatever I come up with, it's definitely going to be better than what was just in there. Oh, ridiculous. This stuff coming off, this is not a problem. Put some lacquer thinner on that and the stickiness will come right off. Ah, beautiful. Yeah, just beautiful. Yep. Just beautiful. Yeah, there's the windshield washer container with the old pump. Look at that. I imagine there's more broken in there than you would expect. I don't know what to do about all that. I guess once I get the car up more, kind of looks like a hanger, coat hanger, shirt hanger. Just lovely. Yep. And there's nothing in here either. See how these things come out? You squeeze the top and the bottom and they come apart. I don't need to take them apart. I just want to get it out of the way. They're so flexible because they're so thin. Really thin. No, that's a shame. It truly is. Alright, fellas, let me get to it. See what I can come up with in fixing that. And see what it's going to take to fill in those screw holes. Good job, Del Rey, or whatever you are. Okay, here we are. That's right, I slapped the slapness out of it. All it took, which were these 1/2 inch lag bolt screws, one back in there because there are 2 holes. Yep, that hold this. See this plastic fitting right here, this whole plastic thing that's attached to the bumper cover. The 2 spots where these screws are, they're broken. I guess whatever comes out that gets inserted, like I just showed before, it broke. So it's either you get all new ones, which I don't know if you can buy that section. Maybe you could, maybe you can't. So I wouldn't imagine anything else, but if not, you got to buy the whole bumper cover. Now the bumper cover isn't busted, other than those 2 spots and this and this and the other 2 And I can't imagine what Toyota charges for this bumper cover. Not to mention the labor of taking it off and putting it back on. And before you put it on, you'd want to paint it. So, you know, this is a lot cheaper. And this fender, I can tell, has been fixed because there's, as you can see, there's filler coming through all those holes on this side here. That would explain the ugliness, I guess. I don't know. It's not my job to analyze. It's just my job now is to fix. So it's fixed. Now I'm going to work on these and get them done. So stand by. Okay, I got to fast forward here a little bit. I used a method that involves like a specialty gun with those pieces right there that get welded on to the metal that you're working on in order to pull the dent out. I showed pictures on my Instagram page. It's Radical Curves 157 Instagram, and you'll see those pictures along the way. So I got the majority. I'd have to say 93% of that whole thing is out, and the same thing over here. That dent is out. So what I'm getting prepped for now, I think I'm going to, I told him I was going to paint the whole trunk because you could try to blend it in. It's not worth the effort. And knowing how much dirt that I see that's in the paint, you might be able to pick up on it. It'd be better off if I make at least the trunk deck look a hell of a lot better than the rest of the car. I'm not going to go crazy like I did with that car and that car, because then it'll really stand out, and we don't want that to happen either. So lights are out. Also took out the locking key lock mechanism, got that out of the way. So I will remove the camera, maybe, we'll see, and other items. I gotta tape these things off, and also the Toyota emblem, take that off. And I'm gonna remove the trunk deck. Actually, I'm not gonna paint it on the car, I'm gonna paint it off the car, because knowing I had to get behind here anyway, and I'll show you, there is the trunk cover for the deck. Gotta plug the battery back in. Oh, I just did that apparently. Gonna hit the button. It pops open really fast. And considering I had to take that cover off and even remove the locking mechanism, so I can get up inside here to where the dents were to help flatten it out really nice. Get an eye on it, make sure it's running the same flow as the opposite side, keep it running even. I figured I just have to unplug these wires, which is no big deal. Take a total of 4 bolts out and remove it, because if I don't, then I have to tape off and the car, tape, plastic, paper, whatever, the entire car, the whole thing, cover it. And that'd take a lot more material and a lot more time to do that. So the job will turn out much nicer with the trunk lid off. You'll save time, save material, which then saves the client money, which is quite a bit considering how much time it all takes. So I'm considering on removing the bumper cover, considering I had to get into underneath the hood and pull the condenser out because of a screw that was up in that they had holding this part of this somewhere. Can't remember exactly where it was. I took the screw out to start repairing that for the front lower part of the bumper cover, and all you hear is hissing noise, and that's that. So knowing that not a good part, but I'm concerned about getting into what I repaired on both sides with that and removing that. I don't know, I have to consider it, and if I do, then I will remove the bumper cover, because if not, then this ain't a big deal just to cover this off. Here, take this off. And actually, even I can leave the hood up, and I can just throw some covers over the rest of it, because I'm really just going to be painting from this point here around, and I'm gonna blend in, and I just might take it all the way to this crease right here, and at least then I'll be able to clean up all the dirt and garbage that's in that, and the major orange peel that's in this car. Make it look a hell of a lot better. Hopefully the fill that I have will, you know, hold on tight. I got heavy scratches in there, filler, to fill in those beautiful screw holes that I showed yesterday, that they use 3.5-inch screws to hold that on. And as I've shown, you can slap the hell out of that, and that's not popping back out, and the seam is what it should be on both sides, because I had to fix this side too. So that came out really nice. So I got to figure that part out. I'm gonna basically do a numbers game on this, and because today on this side too, I have to do the same thing because of the light damage that's over here. All this and whatever in the world this is, it's a combination of a run and a line in there. I don't know what in the world that all is. And the major runs over here, as you can see. Yeah, I have to paint up until this point here, and I'm gonna do it the same way. So I gotta figure that out, see how far I'm gonna take that. I'm not gonna get into painting the whole bumper cover, because that'll involve more time and more material, and I only got just a tiny bit extra material that it's gonna take to paint those two corners in the trunk deck. I didn't get enough to paint the whole car. That wasn't part of the plan, and it isn't gonna be the plan. So I gotta get back with it. All the other tools I just got done putting away, I should have left them out and shown you what it took to really flatten that out in the time. And I also removed the Camry notification. I can buff that black mark out of there. There's no point in repainting this and spending all that time taping around the Camry like the half-ass job they did, repainting it. So I'm definitely removing the trunk once I'm done doing the body work on it, so I got something stable to hang on to it. Yep, get that all done, prepped, get it all ready for paint, get some primer on it once I'm done doing the body work to it, and then some sealer, and then it's just a matter of spraying the whole thing. So let me get back at it, and we'll chime back in afterwards, so stand by. Okay, a quick summary. The body filler has been put on twice, and now this, what you see, it's a little tacky still, is a finished glaze to take care of any little deeper sand marks or whatever before I apply any primer. So that's setting up so that it could dry, so that I could finish doing the finish sand with, I think, 220. That'd be perfect. I already did it with 80 grit on the heavier stuff, and now I'm going to move to the front and finish sanding, because I got the body filler on there. You can see it's a whitish color, and I'm going to sand that down on this side and this side. And once they're sanded, I'll put a little bit of glaze on there, and then actually I will take the DA over it, along with taking the DA, which is that thing right there, and I'll DA the trunk itself, the whole thing, with a 600, and then I will spray the primer over it, over these areas here. And when I do that, I believe the trunk will be off before I spray the primer. I don't want no overspray from me on the car. So stand by. Okay, I'm back. The cover is off from the trunk. I started seeing a lot of moving of parts, getting it out from underneath there, and I just got done sanding the entire trunk deck. It still has to be primed over in those areas, but at least this way, with it sanded down to 600, I was able to get rid of a good portion of the ugliness from the last paint job, so that this way the trunk will look nice. I got the glaze after putting the body filler and sanding it. Now I got it coated with glaze here on the left front at the bottom, and I gotta sand it yet. And the same thing over here. It's been glazed so that I could sand it, finish sanding it. The client was here, dropped off the condenser, and I'll be putting that in later. I'm still iffy, can't make up my mind yet about taking off this bumper cover. I gotta figure it out. Dollars and cents to make sense all the way around. But there it is. Yep. So tomorrow morning I'll spray some primer on there. It dries pretty quick. And in the meantime, I'll be doing the front the same way, spraying that up. You can see those parts that came out of there. Look at that. Alrighty. I don't know what else more to show at this point, but the light he was supposed to get today, I'm sure he'll still get it by the end of the day. And then I'll be able, once it's painted, install it with a new one. But yeah, I even cleaned out all in here. There was a bunch of dirt and leaves in there where the condenser went. I have to make up my mind sooner or later about this bumper cover. But I will make up my mind one way or another. So in the meantime, tomorrow is another day. Peace out. Alrighty, we're back today, Thursday, and I'm gonna bring you up to speed on what's done. We're getting there. Can't say we, it's me. Right now I got the wiring harness out from attached to the trunk deck. All I gotta do is take out those 4 bolts, and I'm gonna put basically some cushion down here so it makes it easier and safer for taking it off. It's ready for the primer. I got the front bumper cover off, and that's also ready for the primer. Got the wrong condenser yesterday that was delivered, unfortunately. But the new one, hopefully they should have there, and I believe it will be picked up shortly. So out the back here, where I have the bumper cover, and Puss in Boots has it on guard. As you can tell, she's sleeping on the job. Ah, she's awake now. And here it is. Yep. And I have to now finish papering it off. The area that you could see sanded is the area that I will be painting. I'm taking it further because originally they didn't paint underneath here, like from this point to about where you see that. It looked like there was still primer on there. They didn't even get color or clear on it. So I will be shooting some primer on there, but first I have to paper all that off. And I believe Puss in Boots is going to help me with her little paws. She's got sharp nails, so she's going to cut the paper and the tape. Yep. But that's the plan so far. I want to get that trunk lid deck, whatever it's called, off the car and get it on a stand. So in the meantime, once it's off and I got some primer on it, I'll chime back in. So in the meantime, stand by. Okay, here we are. I got everything taped off. I just got done wiping it down with that glass cleaner. I love that stuff. And she's clean. All I got to do is just hit these areas with primer. I'm going to mix up next. Underneath is covered. You can see I have the wood underneath there so that when I go do the color, not that I'm doing it out here, but I just wanted to make sure everything was going to be suited for when I put it in the spray booth. And it is. So this area over here, same thing. The whole thing is papered and taped off. And I only hit the areas that need the primer because I didn't get a lot of primer, and you got to put it on pretty heavy, I guess, and then sand it, and then Once everything is all finely sanded, then you put the sealer on those areas and out some, and then you put the color. After the color, then the clear, you know. But in the meantime, I want to get the primer on there so it has time to dry, and while it's drying, I'm going to get things ready to set up the spray booth. It's a small one for doing small stuff like this. It's not the big one that most of you folks that watch me are used to seeing. So it'll be going somewhere over in here, so there's more protection, and that's going to be that. So in the meantime, stand by. Okay, my much smaller spray booth is up, and I've accomplished the sealer, which was a red color, so I didn't bother shooting that because red is red, and the final, this is the color, and there's 3 coats of color on the whole, not the whole, but I painted a lot more than I told them, because it made sense. And as I pointed out, when they didn't paint up along there, it was better off to paint what I painted, and he's happy with that. And then there is the trunk. That's the color we painted off the car. I didn't have to cover the whole car. I know it's noisy in here because the blower is going, and then we got a fan out there, but this is the color. And at 6:45 p.m. I will be putting the clear on, and that'll give this an hour and 5 minutes of flash time, which is plenty, and she'll be ready to go. And I'm hoping that the rain doesn't get hard, because it just started, and I am undercover and everything, but still, you know, I don't need it. You know, so that's the scoop so far, and hopefully all will go well, and I'm sure it will, because I will be putting the clear on, so that tomorrow I can actually install them, put the trunk back on, the cover on, and finish up the car by putting the condenser and things like that. So until then, stand by. Here we are in the final coats of clear. That's like clear. The clear has been applied. I know it's hard to tell here because it's almost 7:30. The sun's going down. Came out really nice. Yep. There it is. And I'm glad I painted as much as this bumper cover as I did. I am glad that I painted the whole trunk up. Yeah, it's a whole lot better than trying to blend in the areas that were damaged between up here and over here, and the damage that was on these. This is a much better way of doing it. And it being off the car, I didn't have to put the time in on covering the car, taping it off, and paper and plastic. All I had to do was, I had to do this anyway. If I was painting the bumper cover on the car, it would still have to be covered just like this. So it was just better off. For me, I think it's a nicer way. It looks better. The headlights in the way, you're not taping over the headlights. So, you know, if you have the opportunity to do it like that, I believe you save time, and when you're saving time, you're also saving some material when it comes to paper, plastic, tape, and that stuff adds up. You know, you're saving the client money as well, and you get to move along and get the job finished. So tomorrow, I'm gonna put the new condenser in, and then start putting the parts on, and the parts will be cured enough to put back on. The nose, the bumper cover, and the trunk. And we'll clean her up a little bit, give it a bath, got dusty, but it will go back together tomorrow. And sometime tomorrow, I'm pretty sure the client should be able to come and pick it up, and that'll be Friday. Tomorrow is Friday. Yep, you see? And knowing that I had to take that inner liner out off the trunk in order to get the tail light, part of the tail light, like this one is busted, and he brought me the new one today. You had to take that off anyway in order to, you know, to get that out. And knowing that I took this off, I'll be able to hand rub that black mark off this piece. Yep, and put that back on there. So this is what it looks like. And that is what it is when it comes to all of that, which I have pointed out along the way. And now I can actually, I'll leave this tape on so that when I'm putting it back together, you know, it doesn't scratch it. Not that it would, it's plastic. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side, put some tape on there. Yep, so that's it for today. So tomorrow is another day. I got to clean the guns now. Oh, another thing I wanted to say to people. This one here I use for clear. I'm not going to tell you the brand or the model of the spray gun. Anybody that does any painting, if they see this, they'll know exactly what it is and they'll know the cost. Well, I have two of these. There's one, and this one I use for the color. They're both the same tips, but I've always done it that way. And combine these two guns together to $1,500. That's right. That one there, not very cheap either. That one I use for primers, heavier products like that, whether it's a heavier thickness primer or a thin primer or a sealer. I use that gun right there. And when I first started off back in 2010, really getting into buying spray guns, I bought two, same thing, one for color and one for clear. And this DeValis right here, once again, not being sponsored by any of these companies, but you'd be able to read that anyway. And I bought two of these, still have them, and from time to time I use them. And back then, they were just a little over $300 a piece. So I think together between the two of them, I have $700. And then I got generic ones from like Harbor Freight, but not the $10 or $15 one. This one ain't. This one is a $15 one. This one is not. And that one's cheap too, but they're used for doing stupid cheap little things, you know, just like the little kind of touch-up gun here. That one there, that one's a cheapie as well, but they serve its purpose, and you keep them clean, they do a decent job. And you could do a nice job with the cheaper gun, but I've been using them all along for a long time, and these guns, they for me, they definitely lay it down nice. And if you got really good product, it comes out really good. Yeah, absolutely. So just thought I'd tell you that. Once again, not being sponsored by anybody. That's just the way it is. Maybe one day it will be. But tomorrow's another day, so tomorrow I'll be finishing out this video. So peace out until tomorrow. Okay, it's Friday, and I got the trunk deck all back together. It's on. And as you can see, it came out really nice. I don't think it matters if you see his license plate, but the new lens is in. And actually, I believe it was a used one, but it's still in great shape. So that's back all together. The liner's back in, and I just got done plugging in the condenser. And one little tip I'm going to give you to make it easy for you, you probably should remove the front bumper cover. It's a little time consuming when it comes to that, but this is the reason why, this line right here. And it has a fancy little clip, and if you're changing out the condenser, it ends up coming with a new clip. And just, you gotta, you know, be sensitive to that clip, because it's plastic, just like a good portion of this car. But it's in place. The top one is in. Both of them are on the passenger side, right side, as you can see there. That's tightened up, and I did put the new O-rings that come with it. Where the heck did I place the old ones? But they come in the bag, both the clip and the O-rings. Then there they are. This is the pick I use to take the old ones off. I won't need this anymore for this job, so this is gonna go away. All right, so now it's a matter of, once I have the bumper cover back on, I'm going to vacuum the system. You hook up the high and the low, and the tool for that I think sometimes you can rent them. Here's the vacuum pump right there. I'll be hooking that up to vacuum the system out. And you usually run it 15 minutes. That's all it's needed. And keep in mind, folks, I actually am a certified licensed AC tech. I've actually gotten more than one. When I worked at the Dodge dealership, I got one. And then when I worked for the fire department in the city of Dallas, Texas, I got another one. I don't know if there's any difference between the big trucks, like the engines and ladder trucks, AC systems. When it comes to them, they're all the same. They're just bigger condensers, more Freon. But you should vacuum the system and then let it do a leak down test, see if it actually loses its negative it's vacuum basically. See if it drops, the needle comes back up to 0, but it goes to minus 15 pounds, I think, something like that. I'm not sure, I don't remember. But if it holds for 10-15 minutes and it doesn't change, you got no leaks. And this system came apart just here and on the bottom, and unless they sold a bad condenser, I highly doubt it, we shouldn't have any issues. So right now I'm going to put the bumper cover on. I know I showed it last night after it was done being cleared. I got to pull the paper off yet, but now it's daytime, the lights are on. It came out really nice. Too bad it looks nicer than the rest of the car, but I didn't get carried away because as I mentioned in my earlier taping of these, or earlier part of this video, I mentioned that I can't make it look like the Lincoln or the 57 Chevy, either the trunk deck or the nose, because it'll really stand out. And I'm not, it is what it is when it comes to the rest of it, but for the most part, I want to get that bumper cover on. So in the meantime, stand by. Here we are, and this car is all back together. This 2018 Toyota Camry. Yeah, I got the camera turned the other way. Hopefully you can see it. I just got done giving it a bath. I didn't, a car kind of needed to get some of the, say, garage dust off, because, even though everything was painted outside in my spray booth that I showed yesterday, but it had your average road dirt on there. And I used my car mop, which you can probably pick up right there. It's dripping a little bit, but yeah, I gave it a quick bath. Yep, I let them know it was finished, charged up the AC. It did take 16 ounces roughly. Yep, that's okay. It's cold, it was blowing nice and cold. I let it run for a little bit, and even as I was washing it, I let it run. This way, let the system do what it's going to do as far as the AC. Let it work, and then topped it off. Got the pressures as it should be said, like in the green, according to the gauge. It's not the gauges I normally use. I have to order new ones. The clocks that I have are made for the R134 and then the older stuff. Not so much this newer stuff. But as you can see, all nice and pretty. Nice and pretty. Yeah, look at that. Car looks pretty good again. Yep. But all right, well, that's going to be that. That wraps this up for this 2018 Toyota Camry here at Power Play Garage. I got her back straightened out again. Got things changed out. His door handle, that had to be replaced because I don't know if I mentioned, they're plastic, as we all know, and internally they break. So I took care of that the same day that actually he showed up to have me take a look at her. And we got the parts for him. He picked them up at one of my parts houses, good old O'Reilly's. Yep, they had it in stock for him, and it took about an hour to change it. By the time you get that door panel off, it'll work on your nerves a little bit, because you got to be really careful you don't break anything, because it's old plastic and those tabs, they're funny to deal with. But anyhow, it's all finished. It's ready to rock and roll. And I get to now clean up the mess, the spray booth, and all the other little tools and stuff I needed. And I do appreciate them when people subscribe and they watch the whole thing. If you ever had a comment, hopefully I'll get to see it and remark to it and give an answer or something. And until then, give me a like, subscribe, make a comment. And once again, thanks for watching.